Hey peeps, it's Andrakon. Today I'm going to show you how to collect oil, store it, and build a refinery and turn it into some good fuel. That way you can take your engines and they'll last quite a long time on just a little bit of fuel. Well, I'm going to start with the introduction to Buildcraft. Go ahead and get all the recipes out of the way because we're going to be using a lot of them. So first up, everything with Buildcraft starts with pipes. So to make the pipes, and there's quite a few different ones, you're going to need some glass, and then whatever kind of pipe material you want to make it out of, like wood, which these will be used for pulling items and liquids out of a container. You can make cobblestone, and these are just your regular transport pipes if you want to move your items or liquid somewhere. Well, in this case, these are just for items. And that's the slowest version. The next one up is stone, which is what I personally use most of the time. It's a little faster, and well, these things are just god-awful slow, so I just hate to use those. And we're going to need quite a few of those eventually. And you can also make iron versions, see, like so. And these will give you iron transport pipes, and you will usually use these in, like, if you got a three-way or more intersections. You can choose which direction to make items flow. I don't need any of those right now, but there's also golden. And these will be used for speeding up transport. Like if your items are going through the other pipes way too slow, you can throw in some gold transport pipes and it'll speed them up for a while. I guess I could make some of those. And the diamond pipes, which I am certainly not going to waste my diamonds on right now. These are extra special. If you want to make like a sorting system, you can choose which direction you want your items to you can choose which direction you want your items to go with diamond transport pipes. It'll have its own interface and everything, and it'll let you, specify, hey, I want coal to go down this particular path. Now, if you want to transport liquids, you got to change your regular pipes into waterproof piping. That requires cactus, strangely enough. So throw your cactus into a furnace, and you'll get a whole bunch of cactus green. This is pretty much just standard green wool or green dye, pretty much. You put this stuff into a crafting table by itself, and you get waterproof, well, pipe waterproofing, pretty much. And I'm going to use a whole stack of this eventually. So if you want to take your regular pipes and turn them into waterproof versions, you got to put your waterproof on top, the item, the pipe that you want to transfer into waterproof version below, and it'll give you your waterproof pipe. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show off what the regular pipes do first. For instance, if you want to, take this and say you got items in this thing right here. You can make these things go somewhere else to like another device or another chest, and you would start with a wooden pipe right here, and then your regular pipes elsewhere, except you have to have a device to pump the items out. So that's where we go into the engines. The engines always start with pistons, actually, and there's three different kinds of engines. The first is a Redstone Engine. Now, all engines are made with gears, pretty much, and it takes 2 gears to make a engine. And, well, I'm going to just make one redstone engine to get started. So it takes 4 sticks to make one wooden gear. And throw your wooden gears in like that, piston there, one piece of glass, a little bit of wood on top, and this will give you a redstone engine. Now this is the basic, simplest engine there is, and it's very, well, not very powerful at all, pretty much. Somewhere in here I got levers. Okay. Now to turn this thing on, you need some sort of redstone circuitry to it. And flick that thing on and it'll start pumping your items out into the pipe. Now, since this isn't going anywhere, it's probably just going to spit it out on the floor, or maybe even make it return back. I'm not too sure. But let's see what it does. Anyway, you can use this to transport a whole bunch of items elsewhere. And, well, if you want to, like, if you got a bunch of chests elsewhere, like in a separate base, you could run a whole bunch of this pipe over and just transport it over to your main base if you wanted. And if you really wanted to, like I've done before, in a really old video of mine, I made a system with a bunch of gold pipes, and, well, yeah, I had some gold in there, but diamond pipes to automatically sort everything. But today we're going to be playing more with liquids than this stuff. So the next thing you're going to want is pretty much a pump. Now, for a pump, you're going to need tanks. These are glass tanks, and these store liquids. Now, it takes a glass, like so. Make it like you're making a chest, and it'll give you a tank. Also, you're going to need a type of miner. Now, you can use these for some other device, some other purpose. I think it just mines down or something. And let's see, how do I make this? It was... oh, I need a gear for this, actually. Now, there's a bunch of different gears. Now, the basic one is wooden, and you can upgrade all these up to the next tier. You got to go through all the motions of, hey, it's got to be wooden, then stone, then iron, then gold, then diamond. And they're all done exactly like this. The previous gear in the center, and the material to upgrade it in the around. So, gotta go ahead and make this here. Put your iron in there, iron pick there, stone gear there, redstone. This is wrong somewhere. Aha, figured it. Had to upgrade this to an iron gear. Okay, throw that in the center. Redstone on the top, iron pickaxe on the bottom. Surround this thing with a bit of iron, and you get a mining well. I don't think I've ever used this. I'm not 100% sure what it does by itself. And you need one tank. Throw it on top, and this will give you a pump. Now, this is for pumping liquids out of, if it's sitting around on the ground. You can pump out your river, pump it somewhere else if you really wanted to. But the idea here today is for oil. And here's a little bit of oil. This is just surface oil, so it's basically worthless. Other than, if you really wanted to, you could scoop this stuff out and take it somewhere else if you wanted. But there's barely any here, but it's good enough to, show you what to do with it. Alright, so I put down this well, and it, exerted this little, whatever this is, pipe, I guess. And once I give this thing power and a place for it to pump the oil, it'll go someplace. So let's start with wooden transport pipe. And I'm going to upgrade this thing to a waterproof wooden transport pipe. And I'm going to throw this thing, let's say right there. And this will give it a place to go. Now then I got to use some stone waterproof pipe. So I'm just going to take, say, this here and put a piece of pipe waterproofing on top. And this will give you your stone waterproof pipe. And you can run this stuff wherever you want. In whichever direction you want, up the walls, into the ceiling, underground, doesn't matter. And it's very easy to break, just bunch it once and it's done. And I'm going to put this stuff in a tank. Now you can stack these up as high as you want. You can even hit the top of the world with the stuff if you want. And you can put things in them, I believe. Let's just do it like this. I think if I hold this and right click there, I can put oil in this. And if I right click it with a bucket, I can get the oil back out. So let's go ahead and throw this back down here. Now next you've got to power this thing. So this is a good time to show off the next kind of engine. You can power that with 4 redstone engines if you want, or wooden engines. Yeah, they're redstone. Or you can make the next kind of engine up, which is a little bit better. I believe it's called a steam engine. And you're going to need some gears again. And you'll have to upgrade 2 wooden gears up to stone for this. Like so. And throw them in there, and it's pretty much the same recipe as any of the other engines except different materials slightly. I really like how, you know, it's really easy to remember the recipe for these. They're all very similar in construction. So here's a steam engine, and you'd want to chuck this thing you know, on top of it or below, or, well, you can't put it below, but you can put it, you know, beside it or anything. And it's got a little interface here, and you can put, you know, stuff in here to burn. I guess it's got to be coal, so let me go get some. Actually, I just forgot to turn the thing on. Alright, so let's try it with a wooden plank, see what happens. Turn it on. Alright, that'll work. It doesn't have to be coal. Awesome. That makes it easier. Okay, so it's on, it's pumping, and there's some oil going in here. And you can see the pipe fill up with black stuff. Black gold! Yeah! And it'll slowly fill this thing up. Now this thing can hold, I think it was 8 or 16 buckets of liquid each. One of those two, I'm not sure. And it'll suck it right out of here. Now the strange thing with oil is it acts like water, except it doesn't replenish itself. You can't make an infinite well out of it. So it works on the source blocks, and you have to use the source blocks. And it'll take all of its oil out of here, and there isn't very much anyway. And you'll start seeing it taking it out from a distance. It's got a decent range it can suck the stuff from. And I keep on falling in the hole. And it'll stick it in here. Now you want to get the oil out of here to take it somewhere else. So here's a waterproof wooden transport pipe. Another one of these engines here. Stick this here. And now I want it to go someplace. Now the next thing up is, well, I think I'll show you the next kind of engine. The next kind of engine is a, what is that thing called? A combustion engine. That's it. Alright, just like anything else, it starts with a couple gears, wooden gears. Upgraded to, well, you're going to get this up to iron. So start with your stone. Then your iron, there's 2 gears, once again a piston, 1 piece of glass, and 3 iron on the top. Now these are the most powerful kind of engine, and it runs off of fuel. It can't be used with coal or anything like that one can, but you can use oil or lava or refined fuel. And this thing provides a lot of power. So I'm going to stick it there. And, let's see. Turn this thing on. And it's pumping out some fuel. And I'm not going to put in a whole lot, just a little bit. I might need more than that. I wonder if it has to be facing this a certain direction. I think I just had to replace the pipe and make sure it connected to it. Alright, let's try this. Yep, that's working. Okay. So I guess I have to place the engine first, the pipe second. Alright, that does the trick. Alright, so you can see this thing filling up. Now this is for it's fuel, and if you want to fill up the second column, that's for coolant, which is in this case water. And there isn't any other kind of coolant at this time. So normally I'd have like another pump set up to like an infinite water source to fill up the rest of these engines. Now that we got an engine, let's make something for it to power. Now this is a somewhat expensive recipe, but because I actually kind of have a limited supply of oil at the moment, it's going to be well worth it, in my opinion. I'm going to make a refinery, and this is going to make the oil into a refined fuel that is, you know, it's more powerful, lasts longer, it's just gives you more bang for your buck, basically. And it's just what I need right at the moment, because I've scoured the map, you know, around my place and only found 1 geyser. And well, that's a very small amount of oil for a map that I planned on playing for a while. So here's a refinery, and it takes 1 diamond gear, which took, you know, 4 sticks, 4 stone, 4 iron, 4 gold, and 4 diamonds. So that thing is expensive. Also, 3 tanks, 2 redstone torches, and you get you a refinery. Now this thing, you can plop down right next to this thing right here and it'll power it, or you could put it somewhere else and it will, well, you can make something to power it remotely, basically. Now that requires a different kind of pipe. I'm going to build some of those. I'm going to make them out of gold just because I like it. Let's see, this takes redstone now. I'd have to check the recipe for this stuff, I think. Oh, okay, that's simple enough. Alright, and, okay, your transport pipe on the bottom. This is just a regular one. And redstone on the top, and this will give you conductive pipe. In this case, it's golden. You can also make this thing out of stone, I believe. Let's check that. Yeah. Except the signal, or the power that's produced, won't go so far if you don't make it out of gold. So I want to pretty much run it this way. Right, that hooked up here. Now we got a problem with this engine right here. The top of this blue part, is where the power is produced and outputs. Now I want it to go right. In this case, I would have to change which direction the engine is placed. I could pick it up and put it back down again, and it might do it, or you can use a wrench. Now, a wrench is very useful in Buildcraft, except this is a different kind of wrench than what you got in the other mods. So, Industrial Craft has its own wrench, for instance. In this case, I want a Buildcraft wrench, which starts with a stone gear, and takes 3 iron, just like so. Gives me my wrench. So, I'm going to walk over here, right-click on this. I thought I was going to right-click on this. I wonder if it'll just power it anyway. Hello? Hello? Yes, right-clicking on this thing with a wrench isn't working yet because it doesn't have a place to go. Now, you would think this would work, but it doesn't. You need a wooden version of this kind of pipe first, and it'll consider it a place to go. So, let me see if I got any. One here, one there. Alright, wooden conductive pipe. So, throw this thing back down here, like so, and right-click on the wrench, or with the wrench, and it'll scoot over here, and it'll start powering this. Now this thing doesn't have anything in it yet, so I'm going to have to throw a little fuel in here, just a little bit, and then I'm going to move the pipes around a nudge. Alright, that's good enough for now. And I don't want the oil to stay in this pipe when I break it, because I might lose whatever little bits in here, maybe. I don't know for sure, but better safe than sorry. So, pop this thing here, scoot this thing this way, and I'm going to put it like so. Turn this thing back on. And this thing's got what looks like 3 little tanks on it. Now, it's got 2 tanks for oil, which are these back here, and these will start filling up with black stuff. And it's got 1 tank here in the center that's off by itself, and this thing is for the refined fuel. So that's enough fuel for now. I'm not going to do a whole lot of this. This thing's got some oil in it. No, it didn't? Okay, well, fine. Throw a little more oil in there, just to make sure it's got some oil. I might have had to replace this pipe again when I turned it, I'm not sure. Jeez, you. Alright, now it's got some oil in it. And where's my lever? Lever. Alright, there's a lever. It's on. And it's producing a little bit of power. Now you can see this little blue line in the center of this conductive pipe. That's it making power. That's whatever power is produced from this. You can pull this off of any kind of engine, even a bunch of these Redstone engines. You could make a power plant with just with those, and it'd be free if you wanted. It would probably just take stacks of the things just to get any kind of power out of it. Now, if you see this yellow stuff that kind of looks like piss down here, that's the refined fuel. Now, let's see if I can even pick that up with a bucket, because I might be able to. Good question. Nope, guess not. Alright, well, anyway, it's got some fuel in there, and I'd had to pump that stuff out, probably with this setup once again, and stick it in another tank. Okay, well, I'm just going to chuck this thing down here and see what happens. Put this thing, I'll put it back here. That there. Tank here. And see if it pumps out the right liquid. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. Now, it didn't produce very much, obviously. Probably just 2 buckets worth so far. Takes it a while to get anything out of that. It works a bit slow, but it does work. Now, if you got a whole bunch of these engines hooked up to it, it'll produce a lot faster. Also, if you got a whole bunch of these, with a whole bunch of engines hooked up to them, you'll get a whole bunch of this oil rather quickly. Well, that's pretty much the basics of what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to make this on a larger scale. The only thing is, I'm going to be able to, when I'm done, pump this oil here back into my engines to power these thingies here, and I can use that on other devices like, I don't know, maybe a gigantic quarry of doom or several quarries, or maybe even some advanced equipment like laser beams to make some advanced Buildcraft chips and ore gates and redstone signals you can send along pipes and stuff like that. So this up here is the bare bones base that I've got so far for my refinery, and it's got a bunch of different rooms in it for different purposes, but it all starts with an oil geyser. Now, don't mind the wooden parts, that's just the oil derrick. I built that myself. But what you want to find is a gigantic oil geyser sticking out of the ground like this. If it's doing this stuff here and looks like a gigantic geyser or fountain of water, in this case oil, that's what you're after. If you just see this stuff sitting around here, you don't want that, because it's only going to have a few bits of oil in it. Now, I went ahead and dug down to the bottom of this thing, and it's really deep, almost down near bedrock in this particular case, and you can keep track of how much actual oil you got down here, because it's basically like a one block wide column all the way down to this gigantic full of oil here. Now, hopefully I can jump in here without dying, because oftentimes there's stuff down here, like right there's a jellyfish. I really can't see the bottom. I can't see anything. I think there's actually, ooh, neat. Hey, lapis, bunch of other good stuff. Yeah, if I put this here, maybe I can see something. Maybe. Let's look in this. Yeah, you really can't see anything in here. It's just like a gigantic chamber of oil, and it's extremely huge. I don't know how many blocks of oil are in there, but there's a butt ton in there. So if I put a oil well at the top of this thing, it'll slowly suck out all that oil, and I want to collect it all, refine it all, and then set up a whole crap ton of engines to draw power off of for various projects. And that's basically what I'm going to do today.